beautiful blocks, 2 of them. All ready now, all ready, Freddy, to be mounted inside here. Boy, they're going to be kind of tall, huh? Yep, it's going to be very interesting to see these guys mounted inside of there. But they do look pretty sharp, I must say so myself. They're very pretty cards. Now, both of these cards are more powerful than 3 of the regular 980s, which I happen to have inside of my STH-10. Are you thinking what I'm thinking? I don't know. But I'm seriously considering. So yeah, boys and girls, these cards are not going to go in there. They're going to go on STH-10. Now, one of the things I did is, you notice these cards are big and tall, and it turns out this is from right above where the fingers are to the top are 6.5 inches. Now, already when I put that in here, you can see it'll fit, but the other cards are about a full inch shorter, so I think they're actually going to fit better in here. I mean, right now these push on this, which is probably not that big of a deal, I don't think, but 5 inches, this is 6.5, it's even 5.5. Yeah, that puts it coming up to right at the bottom of that. Whereas these guys, as you can see, yeah, they encroach into this guy quite a bit, and to put 2 in there, that's going to be trouble back there. So already the clearance for the back slot, without impacting this too much, really is going to be, it's going to hit these guys. Yeah, about 5.5 inches. And now this guy's going to have to be moved out of the way some, but that's okay. He can be moved. So, you know what? That's actually going to work out better that way. So, that's the plan. So the next thing I got to do is take STH-10, get it on the bench, and make a few other arrangements to before I can actually install these. So we're going to take a slight detour, and we're going to take care of this STH-10. So guys, I decided if you want to see the upgrade of the STH-10 with these 2 Strix GTX 980 Ti's and removal of the 980s, then check out the link that's pictured on the screen now. Alright everybody, thanks for staying with me through that little detour and upgrading the STH-10, but I think the 980 blocks actually are going to fit better in here. So here we have the 3 GTX 980s. I have a couple of them with still the fittings on the back, which I'm going to need. So these guys are also Bits Power water blocks. They're quite beautiful, quite nice blocks. And what I'm going to do now is let's put a couple out of the way and see if we can get what it looks like getting one of these guys at least in here. So what I'm going to try to do is fit him back here right now and see what kind of adjustments have to be made to these cables. And actually, you know what I'm going to do before I do that? I'm going to put a couple of plugs in the back of that block because it's going to need some plugging. And actually I should probably just use some plugs that you're not going to be able to see. Looks like this GPU is being selected as number 2 if he fits. There's no space to run tubing to the back of this block, so coolant is going to come in to one of these and then come out the other one. So Here we go now. So we have an issue with this USB 3 port, but other than that, there we go. All right, check it out. We actually have one block in there. Yeah, man. All right, so what's going to be interesting is getting an SLI connector on there, but there is room. There we go. Perfect, so that fits, so we can get SLI running. And I have small cards there. All right, so yeah, man. Well, we're going to be able to fit a second card then. Got one in there, that's not going to be a problem. And the second one will go down right here. So now what I got to do is, before I snap this guy in there, I need to work out the fitting situation between the two cards. So if I just run coolant to this guy in this spot, he can just circulate in here and may not feed that back guy, so that's not going to be good. So I'm going to have tubing that comes out of there, and I'm going to have to block off one of these, and then I'm going to have it feed through one, come out, and then feed through the other and come out. So I need to rig that up and take this off. Put him there. And I'm going to try to find a block for that. And in the meantime, I think I'm going to tack that guy down. All right, how much room do I have? I got some room. All right. Got to find a right angle something coming out of there. All right, guys, so this is where we are. We can get two cards in there, but there's not a lot of space between the two. Now, I don't have space behind here to bring tubing in from behind because there's no real room to turn into this opening here is too narrow, and it doesn't line up with where this the back of the graphics card comes in. So right now I've got plugs on either side. My plan was to bring coolant in to this card here at this point, then out and then into this card, right? And then you know, and then out the other one. So this will be plugged up and coolant go through. So both cards will get cooled. Now to just connect them up with two tubes and SLI link and just feed the one and feed the other, I don't think that's gonna, there's nothing, you know, the path of least resistance is to just circulate the coolant through this card. Now granted, I guess some coolant will make it to the other card, but it's not going to draw away the heat, so I don't believe that's not a solution. So what I need to do is find a way to do it the way I planned, which is to have coolant going in, you know, either one of these guys, but coming out the other. So I have to do that. And so I have limited space between the two. And so what I've thought about is putting a fitting in here, like this one. And this one would, you know, allow me to, you know, take it in and out. But the problem is, even with screwing it in, it's too thick. You can see that it's going to bump right into this card. So this is not a solution. I have a 90-degree one, which is shallower, but I will need a here we go, a dual extender. Let's open this guy up. So here is the other solution, and I can put this on here. Alright, so it does make it a little, well, actually it's really the exact same depth. So that's not going to work either. It's too tight. So my last option is to use this really short 90 degree right here. And so you can see how tiny this guy is. So he is the one that helped it work. The problem is there's no rotary on him, so he's one and done. Once I put him in and tighten him down, my prayer is that he'll point out this way, and then I can work with it. So let's see if I get lucky. I'm praying that that'll work, and it may mean where I might have to do with where I start. Well, I may have lucked out. And then I might want to put a deeper gasket on there. Now looks, it just about does it, and I might need a thinner plug on the other side of this. So I am going to take out the other card and take out the slim profile and use him on here. Gotta make sure I don't have any leaks. So I'm going to do two things. Probably get another gasket. Maybe put two gaskets on here, just to be sure. So what I did is I found that these gaskets are perfect right here. So I used one of those gaskets. I was actually thinking about using a spacer, but that, of course, you know, gave up any of the space that I gained by going to that short little guy. But putting this thicker, this little spacer's a little bit thicker on here, it's got this nice and tight. So now I have the situation where I have a piece of crystal ink. Actually, let's get one here. And that's goodness, because I know that comes out behind him. Now the real test, putting this other graphics card in. And what I'll probably have to do is put an extension on here to bring him out, and then bring a tubing. And actually what may be awesome is this guy might be just right in line. I might have to lift him up enough to get him to this guy. That's going to be awesome. Alright, let's see. Got this guy in here. Plug in here. Alright, let's see. We have the right spacing. What do I have going on here? I may have to remove that screw. Oh, here we go. Are we hitting? Not yet. Can't tell if my tubing is in. Yeah, it looks like we are. Are we good? I can see that they are not touching. That plug right back there is cleared, and I have the those two cards in there really well. Let's get this guy screwed in. So far, holy cow. I don't know if anybody else has done this yet, but PC07 with dual graphics cards. That's looking pretty sharp. I'm psyched that that's looking good. Now what I got to do is run an extension out of here, and I don't have much room coming out of here, so there lies another challenge. I might have to get another one of those fittings to put it right here. Yep. So, and actually we're gonna seal this guy off. I have to measure how much room I have between here and the glass. Not a lot. But we'll deal with that because we've done it back here. I think we can do it again from the front. You know what, in worst case, if I need to, I could put some standoffs to set the glass out just a little bit. That might be the solution for that. Because this guy comes out pretty far. Alrighty, let's find the way forward. So I'm going to need some of these guys. Oh, the one thing I got to do is refit my USB 3 port cable. Alright. Back in. Alright. Now I need a tubing fitting to come off of this guy. And we have him in our bag of goodies. Okay, and get rid of this stuff out of the way. Excuse me. Alrighty, let's see here. Is that too much? Let's see. I don't know. This won't fit. It looks just a tad high. Okay, looks a little bit shorter. Now that looks spot on. What do you think? I think they line up. Yeah, man. Okay. So we have these guys are lined up, and he can come down a bit if he needs to. And this guy can go back a bit. So that's going to be interesting. Alright, so now I've got to get me another one of these. And I got to figure out what I'm going to do right here. Alright guys. Alright, I have the system built. GPU is installed. I didn't put the power cords in here yet. I will do that once I get the tubing run. Now what I have left to do here is get the tubing going from Let's see if we can get you situated so you can see the whole shebang. Shebang, she bangs, she moves, she moves. Alright, so the plan here is I do have some fittings on order. I have to get another one of those short right angle fittings for right here. Same thing that I did here, so that I can come out and have room to maneuver and still put the glass in. So anyway, so that's on order. I have another one, a couple of these fittings right here as well, because I'm going to need to connect that, and I borrowed the one from up here. But those will be here in a couple of days, so that'll be finishing touches, but that doesn't mean I can't run most of the tubing right now. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And the tubing run is planned to go from here with a right angle up and another right angle, and then into there. We're going to go between these two. And then I'm either going to go between these two or these two, and then have this guy come down here. So these guys are like perfectly aligned. They're made for each other. So this guy is going to meet up with him. So the output of the pump is here to here. Then it's going to come out of here, and then I'm going to arrange to have him probably come out and maybe be on an angle, since these guys will be on an angle too. So I'm thinking that's what I'm going to do. Feed him, and then these guys talk, and these guys talk, and then, like I said, right angle, and in. Now that's the plan. I have acrylic tubing, and I'm doing straight runs. I don't have PETG, so I can't cut this easily. I have to cut it the way I usually do it, is with my Makita and a Dremel. So that's the plan. And I'm going to go ahead and start measuring and doing some of those right now. Alright. I'm not going to put that on camera. I'm going to crank up some music, cut and fit, and then I'll show you the finished product. Alright guys, so there you have it. You have seen that it is possible to get two graphics cards in this PC07S. And tubing is almost complete. Just going to have to wait on a couple of those fittings so that I can finish up the tubing. Alright, so I have my pump power. So this is just a power brick that has a Molex connector on it, and then I'm going to plug it into the pump around the back there, and I'm going to control it with this power switch right here. So right now it is off, and I don't have the pump connected up. I have a funnel with fitting on the end here that I'm going to use to fill the reservoir with. I'm going to need to make this reservoir breathe, so I need a wrench to pull off one of these caps here, so I'm going to go do that. Okay, I have paper towels, which we're going to put in. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to to make it a little bit easier to connect this, I'm going to actually screw this into the reservoir here. This is what I'm going to use as the fill port. And I have a plug removed from this multi-top here. There's 3 ports. I have that removed to give me some air. And let's see if I can do this well here. Actually, probably easier to do it like this, right? So let's get some coolant in here now. Make sure everything from this portion down looks good. Alright, so right now we have coolant in here. It's made its way up through the GPU a little bit here. And I'm going to pour a little bit more in. Alright. Now comes the real test. I'm going to plug this in. Currently I'm going to unplug it just to be sure. Here I have the plug. Alright, we have the plug in there. Alright. Okay, so we got this fitting right here was a little loose, so I tightened that up. And then I put more distilled water in. I forgot this was off, which I've done before, and I spilt some. So that is working now. Right now, just keeping an eye out. I don't see any other leaks right now anywhere else. So pump doesn't seem to be running though at 100% yet. Maybe it's because still dealing with, I don't know. It's running very slowly. Alright, I think we got it back on track here. So there you have it, guys. There is the Skylake RGB build with two GTX 980s, 6700K, and the additional Mod My Cables lighting added to the bottom of the case, and then the regular RGB features of the motherboard of the Asus Maximus 8 Formula motherboard running. I have everything set to red, so that kind of supports the G-Skill slate gray and red RAM that's on there, so everything matches up good. The Thermaltake RGB fans are working fine, and the red works good. When I did install the lighting strip in the bottom, the default was like a blue, but you can, using the Aurora software that Asus provides, I was able to calibrate it so that it's in sync now, so that if I do change it and change colors, it'll change colors as well. The only thing with the system, if you want to change the color, let's say from a red to a blue, you have to cycle the fans manually through, change their color. They're not connected to the system. That would be one thing that would be really nice for Thermaltake to do, is allow you to interface with these other RGB 50/50 sets of lights. So, but I think it looks really good. The only thing that stands out here is that one lone blue light from the case power, and then other than that, that's the only thing that is different. But I don't mind that. So guys, that's it. Finally got the RGB Skylake build up and finished and running, looking sweet. So I hope you liked this video. If you did please like and favorite, and if you're so inclined, please subscribe. That's it from Ron's a Nut. Thanks for watching.